Hi, welcome back to our channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about people who want to start a pig farm, especially in Africa or in Ghana. Then this video is going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to talk about real life stories and some things that has happened. And then also most people who are trying to maybe move back home from wherever that they are in a different continent to move back to Africa. So first thing first, if he's trying to, I know a lot of people, they make their decisions to go into pig farming or poultry farming or any other kind of farming in Africa or whatever business that you want to do. One thing that I have realized is, whenever you decide to do these kind of things, the first thing is you need commitment. Because if you are not committed to what you are trying to do, you are not going to go nowhere. You're always going to be stuck in one place. Plus, in most cases, what happens is people outside of Ghana, whenever we want to start something, you send the money to people back home, to help you start it. And then once they start your work for you, whatever you are doing, you want to do, what happens is, because it's not their dream, they do the things whichever way that they think is good. And in most cases, the money don't even go towards what you want them to use it for, to build a business. But I sat down and I thought about, started comparing some things, between Africa, and the European countries, the USA, any other developed countries. And I thought about the difference between them starting a business and us starting a business home. And there's one denominator that I came out to. Like, the thing is, those people, mostly when they are starting a business, they are always in their country starting their own business from scratch. Because they don't travel nowhere to send the money back for somebody to start their business for them. Most of them start it from scratch in their backyard. Those things, and they go to work full-time or different job full-time to build their business. And they are in their own country, so they are always focusing on what they are doing. And they give it about 5, 10 years, 15 years, then they become successful. Whenever they are in their country, after some few years, they become successful in their business. But what we do is, whenever we send the money home, those people, if you give them instructions to do something for you, because you are not here and they know that you might be away for a long time, they're always going to do their own thing. They're always going to try to follow their own dreams or what they think is best for you. And then one thing that I noticed is that, a lot of people have tried to set up a business here in Ghana or in Africa. They send the money over. And there's a lot of stories that people try, like 2, 3, 4 businesses before, and they all failed. And then whenever they come back, they ask the people what happened. They give them stories that, this and that, then they go back, they try to do that again. But then if you are here and you are doing it, you know how much you work for that money. So you are not going to play around with it. You can work it and make sure the business starts. But here is when the commitment comes in. If you are not committed to what you are trying to do, you are not going to go nowhere. And people also give up so easily, because we get comfortable working for other people in their country. So, at the end of the month or whatever, you get a paycheck. So, we are comfortable doing that. But in this case, you have to work to get what you want. And then work, like setting up your own business is different from working to get paid. Because this time around, you have to make sure the business run well, start well, start making money. But before you start making money, you have to pay the workers, you have to buy, feed, anything. And in the long run, you'll be the last person getting paid for anything, That's how business becoming an entrepreneur means, you're always the last person to get your money. But whenever you stick with it, that's when that will happen. You can make a huge profit out of whatever you are doing if you can just focus and stick with it. When it comes to pig farming nowadays, what is happening is there's a hike in prices of feed. So what is happening is, if you raise a pig to maturity and then you take that pig to the market, the prices that you will get, it will probably discourage you from doing the business, because people will give you like ridiculous prices. So one advice that I'll give people right now is, if you're going to do pig farming, sit down and do your calculations right. Like the feed that you are going to feed your pigs, do them right. Do the calculation right. How are you going to get the feed? How can you reduce the cost of feeding? And in my conclusion, I've come to this particular thing. Whatever kind of farming that you are trying to do back home here, the first thing that you need to do is find a land and plant at least on the minimum 5 acres of corn. Because what I notice is the feed for any of these livestock or poultry farm, whatever it is mostly composed of maize, corn, which is the main ingredient most of the time. So if that person can do a corn farm, and plant about 5 acres, do it right, not just do it randomly anyhow. Get the right advice. And one thing that I just came across was, even the corn that we buy from the fish shop or wherever to plant, they always have specific instructions on it: how to plant it, how to space it, what chemicals to use to plant the corn, and the yield that you should expect to get out of it. There was one of them that I was reading the other day, that if you plant 1 hectare, which is about 2.5 acres of corn, and you do it right, it's right on the label of the corn that I was buying, and the instructions are on there. It says that if you plant that 2.5 acres, you should be able to yield about 7.5 tons of the corn, which is a lot of corn, especially if you have about 5,000 chickens on your farm. You can use that 7 tons of corn to feed them for a very long time, at least for maybe about a month or two, which is a lot of corn. Of course, you have to buy the soybean, the wheat bran, and concentrate. But once you take the corn out of it, you have reduced your cost of feeding for about more than 50%. Because anytime we are making 1 ton of feed, usually we add about 500 kg of corn on the minimum, which is 1 ton is 1,000 kilograms. So if you take away 500 kg, you save 50% of your feeding cost already just by having a corn farm. So this is one thing that I have realized, and I will just come back to the first story that I was telling. Usually what happens is we are always in another person's country that we are trying to do a business here. Critical thinking can only be done by you who is putting the money into the business. The person that you are sending the money to is not going to be thinking critically and caring about your business more than you would do. So that's when all of this comes in. If you can be around, you can just gather your money, come around, be committed to what you're trying to do. Just be fully absorbed. Because no matter where you are in this world, if you're not committed to what you are doing, you don't go nowhere. Even if you have a job, you just notice that whatever job that you are doing, wherever you are, the people who cause most trouble in that job is people who are not committed to that job. They always give you headache. But people who are committed to the job, even if they are not more experienced in that particular kind of line of work, they're always peaceful and they do their job as they should. See? So that is exactly the attitude that I do believe we have to put in whatever we are doing. Of course, there's not going to be any moment in life that there's going to be a trouble-free life. You know, in life, I think one thing that I've realized is there's always going to be something. You're either in one trouble, or you are trying to fix something, or you are just on the way trying to go to the another one and fix it. Or once another one is done, another thing comes. You know, so that thing is always going to be there. So you must as well just live with it and just do the little that you can do every day, so that we can achieve whatever we want to achieve. That's what the conclusion that I have come to. You know, because people will discourage you, do whatever. But if you make your mind that you are determined, you don't care about those kind of people, trust me, you will live your life peacefully and happily, because you don't care about whatever anybody says. You know, after all, everybody is living their own life anyway. You know, people will think that you will make you believe that, oh, they care. Nobody cares about anybody in this life. Trust me. Everybody cares about themselves first before they will have to worry about another person. You know, so any kind of business that you are trying to start, just be committed to it. You might not have the money, whatever, but if you're committed to it, the ideas start coming. You start thinking, what can I do to reduce this? And it's not just going to be overnight. Man, it's hard. It's not like you just don't start it and then it's done. No, you have to work it to make it stand. You know, one thing that I realized, I will be watching TV and things, and people who are like fighters, who always win fighting, like boxers and those things. Whenever they are fighting, the people who win, they are always moving forward. They don't move back, because I don't know if people know this, because whenever you are moving back, most of your attention is behind you. You don't put any focus in front of you to get the person. So those people who mostly win, most of the time they are moving forward. They will move back, but not that much, but they are always focused forward. And once you focus forward, that's the only way you can get ahead and win whatever you are trying to do. So if you're going to fail, there's a book that I read. It says, if you're going to fail, you must as well just fail forward. It's called like Failing Forward by some man called John C. Maxwell. That's one book that I probably want anybody who's trying to start a business up to read. It will help you 1,000 times a lot. But just know that no matter where you are in this world, you're going to have to work for whatever you want to have. If you can bring those same attitude to wherever you are, your own country, whatever. But of course, it's good to go make money wherever you want to make money. But in the long run, you have to make something for yourself. I know somebody will be like, oh, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to make money. It's hard being rich. But, if you think that is hard being rich, man, and I've seen somebody who is poor in their old age, that's when you experience the real hard times. Whenever you don't have anything when you are old. So right now, when you can, just work it and do your best. So I'll just end it over here. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe.